Welcome to 2 Cents, the now weekly post show. Even though we didn't have a show this week, I'm Brian Gillis.
The now weekly show?
It is. I mean, it didn't start off as a weekly thing. We're pretty accurate now. We're
How
pretty.
many have we
we're
done
basing
now?
on time.
Like,
This is number 9, I believe.
yeah, I was gonna say like about 9 or 10. We've been pretty good at being on time for like at least
Once we
ever
decided,
since two. Yeah, we've been
ever
sticking
since the
with it.
second one, we've done pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, really hectic week this week for me anyway. I mean, yeah, we missed.
No, for me too.
Yeah, we weren't able to get a review up.
No, that's what I was saying.
Well,
You know,
shit happens. Yeah,
I know you watched We Are Your Friends, which I
Yeah.
wanted to watch.
Nobody else did apparently because it really
Yeah, it
tanked.
made something like 1.5 million.
I don't even think it cracked the top 10.
Yeah, I mean it's a bad week for movies. Bad week in general.
Yeah, well, the summer's pretty much it's over. We're gearing up for September. It's going to be dead for a while. There really isn't much to look forward to.
That's a bad segue, but we do have to start the show with this. You probably aren't aware. Wes Craven passed away today.
What?
Yeah. He died.
You're kidding.
Nope, he died of brain cancer. It was confirmed by all the major trades about 3 hours ago.
What? Okay, I'm going to look this up right now.
It's official.
Wow.
He was fighting brain cancer. He died at the age of 79.
We've been talking for like 10 minutes before recording, and I'm hearing about this. Oh, my God, wow.
Why would I tell you? It's part of the show.
76.
76.
I have 76 in front of me. God, brain cancer. Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Jeez. Wow,
I mean,
that's a bummer.
The worst part is that his final two movies, didn't go out in the way that his legacy should have. Scream 4 and My Soul to Take.
You know what? I did enjoy Scream 4. I mean, I don't
Scream
think
4,
it was...
besides the first 10 minutes, the movie within a movie within a movie thing,
that stuff was
pushing it.
great. No, that
Yeah.
was great. That was very timely. That said a lot about horror movies, the state of horror movies today. And My Soul to Take, like I'm not gonna
Don't
say
even
that's
talk about it.
I'm not gonna say it's a good horror movie, but I did enjoy it. Like at least ironically, I was laughing along with it. It was very ridiculous, but
You weren't supposed to laugh, though.
yeah, I did have fun with it though. I mean, there is at least that. Oh man, yeah.
I thought My Soul to Take had a really interesting premise. It wasn't
it was
done
just
well.
way too damn slow.
Yeah,
Like,
but it was like I'm reading a comic book right now called not a comic but like a weekly. I read a monthly called Nailbiter through Image, and it's a similar kind of thing. It's like there's this town where serial killers are born. There's been like 18 or maybe a little bit less, and it's about them also, but it's kind of about the town. It's a mystery. It's interesting, but yeah, it's so sad.
man, yeah. You know what? Like, A Nightmare on Elm Street, that I don't think that movie holds up necessarily well to today's standards. It's really 80s kitsch now, but like back when I was like 12 or 13, like that really got to me.
I
For
don't.
a while.
I don't think the first one's that scary because Freddy's such a funny figure, and he always had it's beyond camp. It's written so well that he's hilarious and supposed to be hilarious, and so
I
it's.
definitely fell for it back then, though. I mean, it worked for me. I mean, now though, it's still a fun movie, but it is campy. Like
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell because the contemporaries for Nightmare on Elm Street, it's Friday the 13th and Halloween. Or to a lesser extent, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you got these slasher films, and then you got Freddy. Or like the rest of them, they never talk. They don't say a damn thing, and you have this scarred up guy that's just over the top and funny, and that kind of goes with Wes Craven. That's kind of the guy he was. Like by all accounts, anyone they'll tell you, he's a very tender person. I was lucky. I've mentioned this before when the 2 Cents. I was lucky enough to sit in on 2 of his Q&As for his last 2 films.
Gary Perwella, yeah. I mean, he talked about him a lot, and I swear this happened a couple times because I know he frequented in Long Beach.
Yeah.
And I swear that, on the way to the FA1 building, I've walked past him
probably walked
several
it's
times.
probably
Yeah.
true.
Like, it's... I mean, yeah, that's kind of a bummer. Scream 2, like I'm thinking about this now.
Great movie.
Yeah, Scream 2. I love that movie.
It's probably it's probably one of the best sequels out there. Like forget horror sequels, just see. And I mean, obviously that it's part because of the nature of the Scream films and how they disassemble or dissect the horror genre and you know what they have to say about sequels and James Kennedy and all that. But I think this is actually pretty funny. I haven't mentioned this on the show. It's not something I share because it's kind of embarrassing. But during the Q&A for Scream 4, I was lucky enough to ask a question. And so it came to me, and I said, is it bad that I thought the killer was going to be a monkey the whole time? You see, it's funny. And
did no one else get that?
No one in the whole audience
that.
got it. Wes Craven didn't. No, he didn't get it. No one got it. He just said, yeah. And he went on to the next person. I wanted that to be like him going, huh? Like, oh, that was a Jay and Silent Bob reference. And I wanted that to segue into asking him how he collaborated with Kevin Smith on, you know, Scream 3 and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Which obviously had to be a Harvey Weinstein thing. Like, he was having lunch, and then the two of them were there, and then they got to talking.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just bummed. Nobody got that.
No one got that. In a packed house, no one got it. No.
Well, that's a good question, too.
It's a good question, right?
Yeah.
Like, but...
A new Beverly crowd would have gotten that.
Oh, yeah. Well,
like,
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, of course. How could... Okay, well...
But yeah,
you know what? Moving on. But you know what? Like Scream 2, I gotta say, you know, I honestly think that movie is responsible for why I was afraid of public bathroom stalls for the longest time.
The knife in the air.
Yeah,
or like the scary movie sequence, the dick in the air.
I've overcome that, but I'm pretty sure, like, you know, that just subconsciously that affected me in some way because that scared the shit out of me at that time.
That opening sequence is so good for the stab screening. It's one of those great movie sequences that happens or scenes that happens in a movie theater too.
Oh man, I want to watch it now. You know what? Have you seen The People Under the Stairs?
I'm gonna watch that tonight.
That is so much fun.
I'm breaking my no scary movie thing to watch that because it's one of the only films of his that I haven't seen. And I was saving it for October, but I'm moving it forward to tonight.
That's such a fun movie. I watched it for the first time about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Recommended by Tommy Campbell, who went to Long Beach State with us.
Yeah.
He's said, you know, that was his favorite movie of all time, like in classes and such. That's one that he's brought up several times. So I was like, okay, you know, I have to see this. It's Wes Craven. You know, it's got to be pretty good. Such a fun, underrated movie, man. Like, it doesn't get talked about nearly enough.
Even his bad movies aren't that bad. I mean, obviously, well, not obviously, but I haven't seen The Hills Have Eyes Part 2. But I like that's supposed to be one of his worser films.
Well, I thought did he do both?
No, he did both. Yeah.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen Last House on the Left.
Last House on the Left is interesting. It's very it's exploitation horror. Seems very realistic.
I'm looking at the IMDb page right now. I have not seen Cursed, but that's the werewolf.
Don't see it. Jesse Eisenberg's in that.
I have to see that now.
No, you don't.
It probably isn't good,
it's
but
really bad.
just curiosity is going to get to me. Red Eye, Red Eye is actually really good. Yeah,
that's one of the best PG-13 thrillers I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, and there's no supernatural elements there either. Like that's for Wes Craven.
It's
basically that's a really solid thriller.
It's self-contained. It's all on the plane. There's only really nonstop is Red Eye, but action instead.
Like it's very Hitchcockian that movie. Yeah. Oh, God, I want to watch all this stuff now.
The only films of his that I haven't seen are Shocker, as I already said, People Under the Stairs, Serpent in the Rainbow, and The Hills Have Eyes Part 2, I believe.
You know,
I think those are the only 4.
I think Swamp Thing is on my watch list, which I hear is fun, actually.
It's supposed to be fun, it's just not what people were looking for at the time.
I haven't seen Shocker either, though. I saw the remake of Last House on the Left, and I really dug it back then.
Jennifer Lawrence is in it, right?
Is she? No, I think that's...
She was in some other movie that was similar.
Similar name. I don't know, might have had House in the title.
Oh, yeah, The House Under the Street or something.
Yeah. The remake of Last House on the Left, though, was... You know what? My tastes may have changed because I have not seen that since it came out, but I remember seeing that with a packed Friday night crowd and having a ton of fun watching it. Yeah, just rest in peace. Like, seriously, brain cancer, that sucks. I mean...
I didn't watch the VMAs, but I hope MTV took the time to say something since it was a live show. If for no other reason than the fact that they have a Scream TV show right now, which is supposedly doing well. I haven't seen it.
He directed the pilot, didn't he?
I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't seen it. It's possible. Something along those lines probably happened. Talking about pilots, it's still connected kind of. I saw about like the first 10 minutes of the Clerks TV pilot yesterday. Oh my god. Have you seen this?
The animated show?
No, 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 no. They made a live action Clerks adaptation. It was so bad. I had to turn it off.
When was this?
At 95. It was before the show. It was before the cartoon.
I have never heard about this.
Yeah, I found it on Reddit in the Kevin Smith like subreddit. Just god awful. Like the character's still there. Like there's still a Dante, there's still a Randall. There's another guy who runs like an ice cream shop. Like Randall still. I mean Dante still has a girlfriend, but like I turned it off when Dante's dad showed up to the shop and was giving him shit about not having a job and going to college. Like everything you hate about sitcoms is there. The laugh track, the set that obviously is like not real, just everything. It was so bad I had to stop it.
I mean, it's not funny, I'm guessing.
No.
I mean, that
really,
does not sound like Clerks.
Really interesting though. Jim Brewer's on it. He plays Randall, which if I kept on watching, it could have been good because he seems like a good match. But yeah, just something on the internet that's worth a gander.
No, you know what? I think that's the first and the last time that I'm ever going to want to hear about a live-action Clerks TV show. You know, just got to bring this back to Wes Craven. You know, like, because I'm still processing it. I just found out like 5 minutes ago, and you know, like, it's just dawning on me. I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street. That's such a landmark film. So is Scream. I mean, you know, like that's. It's really a bummer. I mean, we don't really have. I'm just thinking about it now. We don't have any like, you know, modern young directors that have really made anything that's had like that has just such a great mythology as those two films.
Yeah.
You know, there's great pieces of horror out there. I mean, but
it's not like Nightmare on Elm Street's kind of whatever. You know, the series as a whole isn't that great. New Nightmare is necessary watching. That's the true sequel to the first one. And I think we've talked about this before, but not on the show. It really sets up the meta stuff that he does with Kevin Williamson in the Scream movies. Like it's very, very much so the same thing, just less comedic and very scary. That New Nightmare is actually like
it's much more straightforward.
Yeah, it is horror. Like
you know, I have not really seen any of the Nightmare on Elm Street sequels. I think all I've seen are the original. I saw the remake. I saw Freddy vs. Jason. I know that some of the sequels are good, though. I hear that Dream Warriors is really badass.
You know what's interesting?
What?
Jack Tucker from Long Beach State edited the Dream Warriors.
Really?
Uh-huh.
You know, I never had a class with him, so I don't really...
He's a fun guy.
I know all the little mannerisms and, you know, like little jokes when people talk about him. I just never get them because I've seen the guy walk around, but I've never met him face to face. I never took his class.
He also edited Prince and Me Part 2, Royal Engagement, or whatever it was called, or the tagline was.
All right, well...
Direct-to-DVD sequel. No Freddie Prinze Jr. in it.
Well, he got paid, right?
Yeah.
All right, he should be happy then. Yeah, though... rest in peace, Wes Craven. You know, like that's I really can't say anymore. But I mean, yeah, really, there isn't. It does kind of suck that we don't really have, you know, great horror mythologies out there. I mean, the last one that I can think of that, you know, Saw got sequelized the crap out of, but I really loved that first film. Yeah, that's a really good thriller. And
the 2 was good to a certain extent too.
It's good for, you know, the kills. 4, I thought, you know...
I stopped at 4, I think.
Its plot was kind of stupid, but I kind of had fun with it, just on an aesthetic level. You know, they did some fun creative things, and it was just really well paced. 6, though, is the best of the sequels.
Is that the final one? The 3D one?
No. That's it's the one before that. I mean, 6 actually has a very good healthcare social commentary in there. And it's the way that they set up the traps, you know, they tie in with the narrative, and it's really clever how they do it. So, you know, they got the stupid, like, oh, where's the Jigsaw Killer cop drama in there? But when they're focused on the traps and the actual guy that's going through them, it really works really well. Wait.
Doesn't 5 begin the whole arc about the new guy who's not Jigsaw because Jigsaw's dead and he's now the one killing people?
Jigsaw died in 3. That begins with 4.
Yeah. Those are besides the first one, I never want to rewatch those movies. I've rewatched the first one a couple times. Great.
The first one is the only one I have on DVD. I mean,
me too.
That's a great debut by James Wan. You know, it's a really good low budget horror film. I can't think of any other horror films that maybe would, could be landmark films. Maybe, I don't know, maybe if some like It Follows got sequelized the crap out of, then maybe that could be it. I mean, I don't think they're thinking about it, but that is something that they could definitely, if there was like a mass audience for it, they could make a ton of sequels based on that, although I don't think the kills would be that interesting after that.
We'll see. I'll be seeing that movie in about a month.
You know what? In Weinstein Company, don't listen to what I'm saying. Don't do it.
They do like making sequels.
Yeah, the Dimension, they could move it there. I don't know, but I'm wrong there because I don't know if there's anything creative kill-wise that they could do with It Follows. But I mean, that's the last like really a truly unique horror film I can think of right now. Well, there's also Sinister, which I really love that first film.
I want to mention something real fast. You just saw Mad Max.
Mm-hmm. Last week.
We're talking about Saw. Did you know that Mad Max, the final sequence, is inspiration for Saw? I mean, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense.
He straight up ripped it off. Like,
well, it's not a rip. I mean, James Wan.
They took the concept. It's not really paying homage. They straight up took that concept.
It's homage. No, they're Australian. It's an Australian movie.
No, and like I respect that, and I love the way that they use it in Saw. But it's like, that whole scenario they lifted like. It's not like lifting an entire thing. There's really not much.
They've said
there's barely any context being changed. It's still the same situation.
The cut your leg off
location.
Thing isn't really that pivotal to either Mad Max or Saw. So.
Well, for Saw, for the first film, it's quite a pivotal thing when you're watching it for the first time.
The sequence is important, but I'm saying it's not really what the story's about. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a big thing in Saw when you're watching that for the first time.
Well, then it's the name of the movie, so...
Unfortunately, that's a huge piece of the marketing, so you can't really experience that moment where they have that discovery for the first time. But, like, that's... Ignoring all the sequels and just thinking about the first film, that's a very, very big, like, nail-biting moment in that movie. The discovery of, like, that's what they're going to have to do in that situation if they want to get out of there.
Well, we don't want to move on from Wes Craven, but we do have a show to do.
We have to. He had a great career. It's a bummer, but brain cancer. That's what really just seeing cancer. It's like, oh, that's a bummer because I mean he was 76. There's
pretty young.
There's directors right now that are 76 might seem old, but there's directors right now that are kicking ass in their 70s. Ridley Scott. Working his ass off, pouring out so many movies. He's in his mid to late 70s.
You know what his next
George
movie
Miller,
is, right?
Yeah, The Martian. I'm really looking forward to that.
No, not
Prometheus 2?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I mean, also, you said Mad Max. George Miller made fucking Fury Road.
At like 84 or something.
Yeah, that's insane. I don't know if he's 80 yet, or if
I'm pretty sure he's 80.
I know he's above 70, but still, like, the most influential action blockbuster film that's come out this year is made by George Miller, who's like, just like, wow, there is so much energy to that movie. So, I mean, 76, if you want to say like, oh, well, he was old and whatever, I mean, that's still a bummer when you take all that other stuff into account. But, just brain cancer. I really hate seeing that, rest in peace, man. I'm going to leave it there.
Jump back to Ridley Scott real fast. So, he's announced that Prometheus 2 is his next thing, which I'm kind of interested in, especially if they shoot it native 3D again.
They will.
I hope so.
He shot the Martian in native 3D. He shot Exodus that way.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's and I'm glad. Like now with post conversion, it's so easy to just decide to, shoot in 2D and convert later. But honestly, I do still think that the best 3D is when you have the stuff there on the day and you know what you're getting. And even if it's not like trying to wow you, there's just something about the way that the shots are composed that just feels so much more tactile. Like just the way that faces are captured, like just the little curves around the edges, they feel more accurate than a computer could ever do it. And I would assume that he would go and use 3D, native 3D for that.
Well, I got my fingers crossed. The reason I bring up Prometheus 2 though is what's going on with Alien 5 now. Are they are they doing back-to-back productions?
I think they're delaying it. I didn't read an article, but I saw a headline saying that it might be delayed for a while. Like that's the plan, is that they're gonna at least have it
Well, we
come
know
back a little bit after, or maybe vice versa.
we know Alien was in pre-production because I'm blanking right now. What's the name of the director? Section
Neil
9?
Blomkamp.
Blomkamp. He posted a picture where he's like, just my office or whatever, and there was drawings and action figures and stuff. Like it was very much so a pre-production office. And news broke this week when they said that he was doing Prometheus 2 that they were also in pre-production. So I guess Fox is just trying to make something happen to make up lost ground on Fantastic Four, or I'm not sure exactly.
Well, I don't think it's gonna. I think Alien 5 is gonna happen. I'm pretty sure either they will come out closely, like maybe
It would make
months
sense.
apart. It would be distanced like a Marvel movie, two Marvel movies in the middle of the summer. But
Like they did Ant-Man with this year.
yeah, I mean, they do that usually every summer. Last year was Cap and Guardians. But anyway, the point is, like, if Prometheus 2 is coming out first, I think that could benefit Neil Blomkamp. That could give him more time with Alien 5.
Plus, it could hype up his movie a little bit more.
Yeah, and, I mean, Prometheus 2, I think that script was written a long time ago, which would, I guess they're tackling a 2016 or 2017 release date.
I'm not sure. All I know is that supposedly they're moving away from the xenomorphs. They're kind of abandoning that mythology.
Which is good.
Which is good, yeah, because that ending sequence when you saw the whatever aliens you want to call it transform into like the proto-xenomorph, well, that's all you needed.
That should have been a credit sequence. Like, that should not have been the last thing that you walked away with.
It basically was a credit sequence.
It should, yeah, I know, because Prometheus, with all its flaws and whatnot, I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. Well, I mean, the 3D went a long way.
Yeah, I have the 3D Blu-ray, and it's
Plus
great.
that C-section scene. Oh my god.
Oh
that
my
was
god,
so cool.
Like, it's tough to compare it to Alien, but like, yeah, at the time I was like, I was thinking like that is the type of like claustrophobia in outer space that I loved about Alien, and just the way that they handled that sequence in Prometheus was so good. I thought the movie, like, as a spectacle, it was really, really cool. There were some cool ideas in there. There may be some flaws in how it's written, but I don't want to overanalyze it, and but I mean, the point is like, yeah, I liked Prometheus when it was being Prometheus, and then when they had to hammer in that stupid alien moment right before the credits started, that should have been a credit sequence.
I mean, the whole movie, it was kind of like the Thing prequel, if you want to call it that. The whole movie was fan service. It was going to a locale with a set that was prominent in the first film, and you're kind of getting a little bit of backstory or expanded mythology to understand what it was. It's not like, oh, look, it's a big head. It's a spaceship.
Those details were there, and they were like kind of a blink, and you'll miss some details that were fan service. That final, like that moment before the credits, that was just full on rubbing it in, which
I liked it though.
I as far as fan service, I love those when it's little things in the background, not when it's just jamming it right in your face. Like, see, fans, see, we're giving you what you want. Isn't it great? Like,
I'm okay with that.
I fucking hate that. Like, unless when it's something like Prometheus, when your aim is to make like some serious, unique piece of sci-fi, which that is what it is when it's being Prometheus on its own.
It's probably one of Damon Lindelof's best scripts. So.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're taking time to just if you want to do fan service and you want me to take it seriously, then don't shove it in my face. If you want me to
wait, stop.
I don't know, maybe
would
have
you
more
rather
fun and
have
laugh at it.
Prometheus fan service for Alien vs Predator Requiem?
You mean Alien vs Predator versus Dawson's Creek?
What?
That's what I'm calling it.
I still haven't seen it actually. I saw the first one and that was enough, and I called it quits. And I didn't want to see the
as a
Christmas
fan of
version.
Dawson's Creek, I'm sure you'd.
Who's
love
in it?
I don't think any of the Dawson's Creek cast, but it's basically Alien versus Predator on Dawson's Creek.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you might watch it.
probably watch it.
I
know it's a
enjoyed
Christmas
that
movie.
one. Yeah, I enjoyed that one. That one more. I mean, there were at least some cool action bits, but I have not seen that since it came out. I was dumber then. And
It's okay. Sometimes we just need dumb movies. I really like Jason X. I think that movie's fun.
Dude, that movie's awesome.
David Cronenberg's in it. Like he's a main character. That's cool on its own.
Seriously, that movie is Jason Voorhees in space.
Yeah.
Like, and here's the difference. Prometheus 2, I'm not trying, hopefully Prometheus 2, but Prometheus, I'm not trying to laugh at it. Jason
You're
Voorhees in
supposed to laugh
space.
at it.
Yeah,
It's the
Jason Voorhees in
concept.
space. That, I mean, just you read that synopsis, and that's just a movie saying, you know what? Fuck it. Let me see where this goes.
I like that section where
Yeah.
there's like the laser cutter grid that they kind of reuse in the first Resident Evil movie, and that one guy like turns into like he gets cut and his body falls into like ice cube sizes. That and when Jason gets out of the cryostasis and he gets the new suit somehow.
The fuck upgrade Jason
Yeah,
2.0.
and you get like this cutaway to someone going, "Fuck, he's upgraded." Like that movie. They can copy that same kind of tone for Machete in space, and that's why I think that movie would be good.
But here's the thing, going back to Prometheus, like that's, fan service in some like Jason X, that's just a movie saying, fuck it, let's have fun. Fan service can be fun, but if you're going to shove it in my face and do a serious movie at the same time, then it just feels like pandering. Like I can't engage with Prometheus on a serious level if I'm just going to get this shit thrown at me. So I mean, that's kind of where I stand. Fan service is fun if that's what it is supposed to be, fun. When Marvel does it, it's usually at the expense of some sort of humorous moment. It's not like within a serious dramatic beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, talking about fun, not necessarily fan service, did you hear that Vin Diesel basically confirmed that Xander Cage is returning in a true Triple X sequel?
Yeah, which I think they're supposed to be shooting later this year.
I hope so. I really like that first Triple X movie. I think it's one of, I mean, we obviously had a lot of spy movies this year, but I think it's one of the better North American versions of James Bond, especially at the time. Like, it really did do the extreme sport stuff pretty well, plus he had a good soundtrack.
Well, I think it had that and just like, that early aughts, like,
Plus, I was
punk rock attitude, or well, he wasn't a skater, but you know what I mean. Like
Tony Hawk was in the movies, and he did do some skateboarding. Like no, he wasn't doing skateboarding. He did that base jump off the cliff to be in the movie. Oh no. He was pretending to be a chauffeur. He stole some guy's Dodge Viper, drove it off the cliff, and then parachuted out. And then it does a match cut to that sequence being shown at his like kickback, and Tony Hawk's there and a couple other people, I think like Travis Pastrana or someone, and they're just like, "Oh, dude, that was so cool!" And then that's when Samuel L. Jackson shows up, or not Samuel L. Jackson, whoever it is, and he's like, "You want to be a spy?" But there's like that, huh?
I'm sorry, but didn't he have an eye patch in that series too?
It was Samuel L. Jackson, right?
Yeah. Did he have an eye? Oh wait, no, he had a scar. That's
he
right.
had a scar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I just realized he basically was playing Nick Fury before Avengers.
No, he totally was Nick Fury in that movie.
No, like I've not seen Triple X. No, God, wasn't there a sequel? With
Yeah,
Ice Cube?
with Ice Cube's State of the Nation, so horrible. The best part of that movie, there's one good part. That movie is basically a White House Down or Olympus Has Fallen before either of those happen. There's this moment that I remember. It was the new yeah, it was a Ford Mustang. It was like before the new car came out. It was like the 500 horsepower version or whatever, and like it jumps off a train and then the tires get burnt out, and then Ice Cube is driving on the train tracks behind this train.
Yeah, wasn't that like an incredibly fake CGI background? Though?
Yeah, it was really bad. That's the moment that sticks out to me.
I remember that movie just having like really fake CGI, and I was watching it on an airplane. Like, it was like Willem Dafoe and him like chasing on like these really fake train tracks, right?
I just remember going, why the hell did they make an Ice Cube sequel? That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I think this was back when Ice Cube was a joke too. He wasn't.
Yeah,
I
mean,
Ice Cube in movies to me. Anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, he did. Are We There Yet? At that point.
Yeah, it was right around the same time. He was also in that Ghost of Mars movie.
I never saw it. I mean, this wasn't really 21 Jump Street Ice Cube.
No,
which is awesome.
Then again, one of his first films was Anaconda. So, episode 7 is coming soon. IMAX is going to be showing it exclusively for the entire month.
Yeah, which, that they do stuff like that. They would. I think, here's the thing is IMAX, now it's like they're getting a new release every week, which...
Roughly, yeah.
Which kind of kills the IMAX experience for me. Like, the last movie that I saw in IMAX was Furious 7.
Was it Limax or True IMAX?
No, it was True IMAX. It was digital, and it wasn't. It was kind of more. It was like a non-anamorphic presentation of it, so I had to sit a bit closer to get the IMAX effect. But I mean, it just seems like because IMAX is going digital now, that gives them the opportunity to put more stuff out there. And now we're getting shit like 50 Shades of Grey in IMAX. They
No, it
released,
wasn't.
I
Was
think
it
so,
really?
yeah. Yeah, yeah. They even put out Focus with Will Smith that had a limited IMAX run
Wow.
digitally. So I mean, and here's the thing: when IMAX was exclusively film, it would
It
probably
was
be
special,
like,
yeah.
yeah, it would be like, I don't know, maybe like 9 or 10 films a year
I
that
th-
were released
I
in that
think
format. That was
one
tops.
of the first big non IMAX movies to get the release, I think it was like Deathly Hallows Part One, and that was a big deal.
No, they've been releasing them since Prisoner of Azkaban, I think.
Was it?
Yeah,
I
because I
remember it
saw
was there was a certain Harry Potter movie, and everyone made a big deal about that.
yeah I saw Order of the Phoenix in IMAX. I saw Half Blood Prince in IMAX. I don't think I saw either of the Deathly Hallows, but yeah, like that's Harry Potter. That series, that's one of the first ones to really
It,
make IMAX, bring
yeah,
IMAX into the commercial
showed that it was
realm. Yeah,
profitable for non IMAX films.
I'm pretty sure that way back in 2004 for Prisoner of Azkaban, that was the first one I think that they put out. I think Warner Brothers is actually, I believe, the first studio to really to do that. Disney may have done like a couple big like re-releases with Lion
Documentaries or
King
something, yeah.
and Beauty and the Beast, but they were the first ones I think to really put like commercial like movies that were like being released at that specific time that were in traditional theaters and IMAX as well. Like The
I mean,
Matrix Reloaded was one of the
uh-huh.
first ones.
I mean, and Warner Brothers continue to do it, especially with Christopher Nolan, allowing him to shoot Dark Knight Rises, and Inception, plus Interstellar.
It's kind of makes me miss film a little bit because there was a point where before digital IMAX, it would be special. The stuff that got on
Hmm.
there would be. I mean, when you see something, especially at the Spectrum and digital IMAX, it's not laser projection yet. It's a
It
2K
is.
projector, so it's not taking up like there's even the edges on the screens. You can still see those there. It's not taking up the full width of the screen.
It's an epic thing.
Maybe not the whole height, but like it wasn't even taking up the whole width, so I have to sit closer to that. And even when I saw Interstellar in IMAX, like there was, there is that feeling of like, wow, this is like a true experience. So, I mean, anyways, what's our point here? Like Star Wars getting a month-long release? I mean,
Yeah, which
yeah, back
doesn't
when they
matter
were,
since it's the end of the year anyway. It's not like there's anything else major besides Star Wars, that's going to be potentially in IMAX anyway between December and February. But it is, a pretty big get for Disney.
yeah, I mean, but there's, for a month, like,
Just
yeah,
think
there
about
was,
how we already know they're going to crack 1 billion domestic. And with it being in IMAX for that long, it's
1 billion domestic. You think so?
Oh yeah.
That's gonna make it the highest grossing film of all time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Domestic.
do you doubt it's going to make around 1 billion? What did
I
Avatar
don't.
do?
I don't doubt that it will cross 1 billion. I just don't expect it to be that big of a culture
Look.
phenomenon. I expect it to open huge, but is it going to have legs? I mean, and
Look.
we'll get into this with Avatar later.
Minions crossed 1 billion globally. That piece of shit 78-minute movie.
That has universal appeal to kids, though, and I mean that movie.
No, it
opened
has
big.
the universal appeal. It's made by Universal. That's the appeal this year.
Yeah, it has appeal to kids too, like kids
So does Star
worldwide.
Wars.
Yeah, but my
Star
point
Wars
is like, yeah,
created
these things,
the movie toy market.
the thing is like these things open big. Like some like Avatar or Titanic. Those were not. Those were
Who
movies
thought
that had
Straight Outta Compton was going to be number 1 3 weeks in a row when it's a hard R biopic?
again, a movie that doesn't have a massive $100 million opening, but that had great word of mouth behind it. It got popularity, but like obviously it was in the news of like, oh, there's people at this theater, and there was some sort of quote unquote controversy behind it. But that is something that has legs. That's something that generated a lot more interest once people heard about what a big deal it was. That's with Avatar, that was the case. People learned more about once that they started talking about that on CNN of how it was a big piece of filmmaking history. Then people just over time kept on going and going and going to it.
I feel like Star Wars is going to be one of those movies, kind of like Titanic, that sells so well that you're going to try to go to the movies on a Tuesday night and it's still going to be sold out.
Like, I don't doubt that for the first couple weeks it will be sold out, but after, do you really think it's going to consistently week after week after week after week keep on being big? Like,
Not huge.
we still don't know. What if the movie sucks? What if this is just
It's
something
possible,
that people are
but
like, oh, we only want to see this once, or we don't want to see it again.
Star
Then it will
Wars
die
fans
down pretty
are
quick.
such a people. Like there's like I'm part of this group. I'm not super Star Wars geek or anything, but Star Wars fans are the type of fans that are going to go out, even if it sucks, probably watch it at least twice. And maybe the first time they're going to see it in standard, and then they're going to want to see it in IMAX, just in case. And I think that this month-long stand is going to make that even more of a possibility. Because IMAX really isn't that much more. I'm not talking about true IMAX, but the IMAX experience, it's only like $4, $5 more than a typical ticket is anyway. So I think a lot of people are going to make that jump, and it's just going to make more and more revenue. Worldwide, I think it's going to get closer to like $3 billion.
Well, I mean, it could be the highest grossing movie like worldwide. I just don't know if the number that it would reach domestically would be 1 billion. But then again, I mean, if it does, then that's going to set a really big mark for like
The next Star Wars movies.
No, well, no, just for like what the highest grossing movies of all time like has to mean for that number to be impressive. Because over the summer we kept reading about record breaking like box office numbers, Jurassic World being a big one, and
True,
I
7.
just yeah, but I mean for Jurassic World, like I think that's what, the third highest grossing film of all time now.
It's in the top 5.
Domestically,
I believe it's
still
number 3. It's behind Dark Knight and Avatar.
Broke 600 million, and I think just inflation is at a point now where that number just doesn't seem that impressive to me, especially because new stuff keeps on coming in. It's not like we're waiting 5 years for something else to reach that height, because when most of the stuff that's in that like top 10 of all time, those are cultural phenomenons. Now it's just, I think inflation may have reached a point where I guess we're waiting for that next like really big record breaking thing, because you look at
I think this is going to
Box
be
Office
it.
Mojo. Yeah, it could be, but I don't know, with such a popular franchise, like I don't know if it's gonna have the momentum behind it, because people know what Star Wars is. There are people that are just gonna look at it and be like, oh, it's a new Star Wars movie, I know it's gonna be on video, I'll wait for it. I mean, typically when something like Titanic or Avatar comes out and ends up being a record breaking movie like that, or the highest grossing film of all time, you look at the all time like highest grossing films of all time that are adjusted for inflation, and those are not all sequels. Those are all things that
It's
are
usually
new.
No,
And
it depends.
it's usually
Gone with the Wind, Words of Oz.
those are typically things that are new to movie-going audiences, and it's something that they haven't seen before, and that's typically what gets their curiosity of like, oh, it's this big thing that everyone's talking about that they want to see. Star Wars is, I'm sure it's going to do great. It's going to be massively successful, but to some people, it's probably just still going to be just Star Wars, and they're going to be like, I'll wait for that. It's just another one.
I mean, it's going to be on Netflix eventually. Was it 3 years ago? Netflix signed a deal with Disney, and some of that went into effect pretty quickly. That's why they have a lot of classic stuff on there, like Fun and Fancy Free or Lady and the Tramp, Aristocrats, whatever. Aristocats, not Kratts. That's a joke. But it was announced today that Netflix isn't going to re-up their deal with Epix, which includes a lot of stuff like the Rocky films, Hunger Games, Transformers, anything.
Stuff from Paramount and Lionsgate.
Yeah, all like it's going to be Mission Impossible, stuff like that. Anything that is a huge budget, basically, that not that many people probably watch on Netflix to begin with. But they're losing at the end of September, and Epix is going to. They already announced today that they're partnering with Hulu, so that's a good get for Hulu. They have a lot of content now. Between
that's
Epix,
a really great one.
Yeah, between Epix and TV shows automatically plus Criterion Collection, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot more people get memberships, even though you gotta watch commercials still, which is weird. But yeah, the reasoning behind Netflix doing or not doing this rather is apparently because they want to be known for their original content, which they pretty much are anyway, especially when you think of something like House of Cards or like Wet Hot American Summer First Day of Camp, which I watched this week. We've already mentioned this, there's 3 new movies this year, like House of Flying Dragon, or not House of Flying Daggers, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon 2, The Beast of No Nations, the Chirac Spike Lee movie. Anyway, that's Amazon. My bad. Uh, but they are getting theatrical releases now, and they are trying to make their original stuff. And like Virunga got nominated for best documentary, so they are finding their footing. So I don't think it's that big a deal, but I'm sure people are going to be crying on the internet.
Well, I guess another thing, if I have to guess, just because everything is shifting over to, streaming, I'm willing to bet that it's getting very, very difficult and very expensive for Netflix to, keep paying for these rights to have access to streaming these movies.
I doubt it. I mean,
Because,
it's usually like a 5-year deal.
Well, I mean but it's also, their price, like they said that they're going to expect like price increases to come up, like at least within the year or the next few years. Right now, $8 a month for
It's
the
cheap
access
as
to
shit.
the catalog that they have, it's insane. And I'm sure that studios are realizing, wow, there's a lot more people watching it on this, and we could be charging them more for that. But we signed a contract that makes it super fucking cheap for them to do that. And not many people are watching movies on cable anymore.
I stopped.
Yeah, I mean, like Netflix really is a go-to place for people to watch their entertainment. I'm just willing to bet that as they keep on getting more and more successful, it's probably costing a bit more money, just based on the contracts that they're trying to arrange with these studios to have access to all this stuff.
I'm
And
sure
also
that
the studios are probably realizing that there's more profitable ways to hand over their rights at broadcast.
I'm sure the Epix deal
I'm
wasn't going
just
to be that
theorizing
expensive
here,
though. Because they are not. When Netflix made the deal with Epix originally, they didn't make it with Paramount and whoever. They made it with Epix, who already had to do the deal. So it probably would have been a little bit more money. And I'm not sure this is going to pay off, but like I said, because they have Disney, which includes not only Disney but Lucasfilm and Marvel. Plus, they already have the Marvel shows anyway. Jessica Jones is coming. I don't know when. I'm going to guess around April.
Around the same time that Daredevil season 2 is coming out.
Their idea, well, not season 2, but their plan is to have one Marvel show every year, and then the Defenders. So, they're obviously going to stay afloat. It's not like everyone's going to jump ship or anything. But we'll see what happens next. They have to do something because original programming only goes so far. People are much less likely on Netflix to watch something they've never heard of than to want to watch something they've seen and love. I get surprised, not surprised, but excited when something comes back. Like we'll just use Clueless, like that came back not too long ago, and I was like, "Ooh, it's back." So.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's also like when Netflix first started doing original content, it was stuff like House of Cards was. I mean, as much as I enjoy House of Cards, like everything, you look at that show and it looks like a show specifically designed to be a great show. And that's a good pick for like their first show to put out there because that was one that won a lot of people over. Well, it was the first big. It was the first big one that got attention anyway, though.
Yeah,
I mean, it got everybody's attention, and like House of Cards, like a lot of people, their appeal of watching it was that they heard that it was this great show, and you could watch it only through Netflix. And now I feel like
and
that
you
appeal
could binge
might
watch
be.
it.
Yeah, but I feel like that, that new novelty there of like, seeing a new show through that format, it's probably much more difficult to market now. What Netflix is probably going to have to do is they're probably going to have to start doing like, when I watched Last Week Tonight on HBO Go, there's always an ad beforehand. They're probably going to start, doing more ads for new shows, unless they already
they
are.
kind
I
of
don't know,
do,
because
actually.
you got Netflix. I don't. So
I don't know about on all platforms, but I know on the video game consoles they basically do the same thing. When you start Netflix now, if you open the app, I watch it on my PS4. The first thing you see is this basically an ad that takes up the whole screen that auto plays for their new show. So for right now, it's that Narcos show about like Colombia and like we'll just call it the Medellin ripoff show. Like it auto plays. Before that, it was what was it? Franny, the one about the two wives whose husbands turn out to be gay. And so I think that is kind of what you're talking about. And there have kind of been ads before. There was on April Fool's Day where if you're watching too long, it was like, are you still watching? You need to go outside. So I don't know. I mean, Amazon's, they're working on stuff too. They are competing. Amazon just announced that they're adapting Galaxy Quest into a TV show, which I think can be really good.
Yeah, I read about that, and I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, you saw Wet Hot American Summer, but I just don't know how I feel about this trend of reviving back either old TV shows or adapting them for movies. It's
I don't want to
because
see
it's
them. Well, I don't want to see them make the movie into a show. I want them to turn the show on in the movie into a show, and then it segues into the movie. I hope that's what they do.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this trend because it's not it's not getting me to watch any of these shows just based on my familiar with the movie. Even if the From Dusk Till Dawn series apparently
I
it's
heard
really
that's
good,
good.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but even though I love the movie. It's a really fun movie. It's a
Hmm.
big part of me growing up.
Wet
But
pussy, stinky pussy, smelly pussy, all the pussy. Come to the titty twister.
oh man, I don't know. There's just I don't feel that strong of an appeal to watch it. I can just watch the original movie. In a weird way, Daredevil seems like the same to me, even though I know
No.
that's a
What?
completely different thing. But
Yeah, watch that
it
show,
just
man.
kind of but it just kind of feels similar to me. Like
I'm with
seeing,
you, and I mean, it's American Summer's kind of a good example of that. I'd seen the movie before. It wasn't really my thing. I saw it, many years ago. And so I basically binge watched the show. I watched the first episode about a week ago. I was like, yeah, I like that. And then I watched all the rest of it, the other 7 episodes, about 4 or 5 days ago. And then I capped it off by watching the movie again. The show is better than the movie. Like it does some good world building. It has the same concept. It all takes place in one day. But just like the connections that are there, seeing the cast under a different light, and like kind of giving them room to breathe, it definitely works a lot better. It's not because it's still just as campy, just as weird, and they recycle certain jokes. But I don't know. I really liked it.
well, it is still David Wayne though, right?
Yeah, it's still Michael
Who-
Showalter and David Wayne.
Yeah, I have not seen Wet Hot American Summer, but I know that David Wayne. I really like role models a lot. And you know what? Honestly, I think that's probably all I've seen. I hear Wanderlust. I think is really good. Actually, no, I did see the 10, which I found interesting.
Oh.
But from what I heard about Wet Hot American Summer, and tell me if I'm wrong, but that's a very early film in his career, and it's one that has more of a cult following because it seems
It
like
has a
these
huge cult following,
Yeah,
especially because of the
it's,
cast.
and what tends to happen with true cult folk movies is that people tend to like them not necessarily for the reasons that
But-
the filmmaker intended.
Yeah, just because it's a cult
that-
movie.
that it's not necessarily a film that's very confident in what it wants to be or what it's trying to do. But then you have David Wayne working on some now who's proven that he's very talented and he probably has a better grasp of what it is that he's trying to do, and people are more in tune with what this thing is supposed to be. So I imagine without seeing it, I imagine like that's what it sounds like to me, that's what that could be. But am I, unless I'm wrong here, tell me, am I wrong?
Sorta. I mean, it's just
Okay, then I'll shut up.
it's a summer movie. It's a summer camp movie. It harkens back to a certain thing. I'd give it a watch, just because. Like I
Going back just to this whole reviving TV of like either old shows or basing them off movies. Here's my worry about is that like this stuff is mainly being greenlit just to appeal to nostalgia. And
yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's the
don't
wrong
know-
word for Wet Hot American Summer because I don't know.
But I mean, that is a very specific audience. Like the
It
people
definitely
that are
is.
Probably
It's fan
likely to
service.
watch that.
Like to
Yeah,
bring the
I mean,
conversation back on itself. It 100% is fan service,
it's weird. I
catering
don't
to a
know how
certain crowd.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. I'm pretty sure because it just doesn't sound like a good thing. But then,
I mean, it's
at
not a
the
new
same
thing,
time-
though. I mean,
Yeah,
look at the Teen Wolf show on MTV, which is a huge success. Almost everyone that watches that show doesn't even know that it's a Jeff Loeb comedy starring Michael J. Fox from '85, or 10 Things I Hate About You that lasted for a little bit of time, or I wouldn't be surprised if they have like an Inside Man show. Who knows? Like it's beyond a trend. It's the same way that it's working in the movies.
well, yeah, but I mean,
Man from
here's-
Uncle, like
this is the way that it feels to me now is that like a decade ago it was franchises, it was comic book properties. Now it's oh hey, let's do a RoboCop remake because that will appeal to a specific audience. Let's do a remake of, I don't know, what did we reviewed some recently that I'm trying. Yeah,
Vacation.
Terminator and Vacation. Like
well, Terminator's
it-
got legs now. Fuck you, China. Terminator's
yeah.
surpassed Mad Max on the global scale.
Yeah, but I mean, here's my point. It's like it feels like this stuff is like specifically being greenlit because they're depending on people's nostalgia. And here's one that I am totally guilty of being like I'm falling for right now. Fucking Star Wars.
That's beyond nostalgia, though. It's like...
Yeah, but I mean, JJ has made it clear, like, he's making a movie that's meant to appeal more to the emotions, and he's trying to make a fun movie.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, but, like, it does fall into, like, well, this trend kind of bothers me. I'm very susceptible to it when it comes to Star Wars, but this trend is sort of bothering me. And, I don't know how seriously, I don't really want to take Vin Diesel seriously on this because he says a lot of shit, but Iron Giant 2?
Who knows? I doubt that's going to happen, especially
I don't want to see that happen.
With Incredibles 2 happening.
Yeah, even Incredibles 2, like, there was a point
I'm
where
okay
I was
with
like,
that.
I was totally up for a sequel, but now I feel like, well, it's kind of been a while. I'm sure that Brad Bird will do a great job with it, but I don't know,
Look, if Cars deserves 2 sequels and a spin-off, let The Incredibles have their day again.
Well, as long as Cars 3 is a war movie.
It could happen.
It won't be, but if if it is, I will totally be up for that.
Look, I'm sure it'll be a drag. A couple other things happened this week. Jennifer Lawrence is apparently writing a comedy with Amy Schumer, and after seeing a couple other things this week, such as the two of them dancing footless on Billy Joel's piano while he played Uptown Girl at a concert, it's definitely true. There's a Vine of this on the internet. You got to see it. It is bizarre. There's also a video of Amy Schumer doing the women's rapping part of Get 'Em High by Talib Kweli and Kanye West, which he did pretty good.
Well, hey, I mean, I'm not one for all this gossiping shit, but, like, from what I read on Film News, yeah, they seem to be very tight right now. Yeah. So if they're writing a movie, I would ask that, hey, make the best movie that you can and don't indulge us with your newfound friendship or whatever the hell it is, right? Or don't be self-indulgent.
If they're writing something together, that must mean that they're writing it for themselves.
Yeah, but, hopefully it's not...
It's probably going to be something... Have you seen the trailer for that Sisters movie with Tina Fey and Amy Poehler?
Yeah.
It's probably going to be something just like that.
Yeah.
That's what I would assume. Or Bridesmaids.
There really isn't much to say other than these are... I think Amy Schumer's funny. I've seen some of her stand-up. And Jennifer Lawrence, yeah, absolutely, she's talented. And, I like watching her for reasons other than just that.
Okay.
Come on. You're there with me.
For the joy, right?
You're there with me. Don't deny it. She's really hot. Like, as far as screen crushes, come on. She's like top 5.
Oh, no. I don't have a list of screen crushes.
Okay, but you have 5 that come to your head right now. I know.
No.
No?
No.
God, okay, go enjoy your Magic Mike.
Hell yeah, man.
All right.
But yeah, I hope their movie's good.
Yeah, same here. I don't really have much to say about it. Is she gonna take on directing Amy Schumer? You think, or
I don't think. I mean, it wouldn't be that big a surprise. I don't know. That all that's announced is that they're best friends now and that they're writing something.
Yeah.
The interview in which it happened is really bizarre. I read like a recap of it. Basically, someone who was interviewing Jennifer Lawrence. I'm not sure what about. Probably the Hunger Games. And she like let it slip. She was like, "Oh yeah, and me and Amy Schumer are working on something." And then she like took her phone out and started texting her saying, "I hope it's okay that I just let it be known that we're at work, that we're writing together." And then Amy Schumer like responded back like something real snarky. So I don't know. This could also be just one of those things that never comes to like into fruition. It just is. Like we'll forget about it in a couple of months.
No, they both have enough clout right now. Like, if they're actually writing a script, it will get made.
Yeah.
Like, both of them are pretty hot right now on the scene. So, it just depends on whether or not it's good. That's really all I have to say about that.
Yeah. So, I didn't get to see Hitman, which I'm kind of sad about. But it doesn't matter, because we got another video game adaptation on the way. Borderlands is coming, which is really...
Really?
Yeah, which is really bizarre. I've only played the first game. But there's no story in the first game. So that's perfect for a movie. Because they can make it whatever they want, and you can't complain about it not being faithful.
Well, you got to get to the essence of that game. I mean, like, I played the game a couple times, but, I mean, in Borderlands 2, there is actually some really funny, really witty writing.
Yeah, that's what I've heard about Borderlands 2. I haven't played that yet.
Yeah.
I have it, I just haven't played it.
There's a lot of, like, really fun sarcasm in there, so... I don't know. You kind of, you kind of have to get like that quirky sensibility. And I have not played the first Borderlands, but
It's like the same thing.
it's just
it's a shoot and loot game. You kill
there's a
someone, ooh, look, a
very
new gun.
yeah, but there's a very like oddball sense to it. So
Yeah,
that's
especially
like that's a
Claptrap.
even if there isn't much of a plot, that's still a really big challenge. Just getting to the essence of what that game is.
My friend Louise kind of, I think you got it right. He said, "Oh, so it's gonna be like Mad Max." I was like, "Yeah, probably. Like they're probably
could be, yeah.
looking for something grandiose." Because I know Lionsgate said that they want like a true blockbuster. Like they want to make the video game movie a thing again. And what's interesting here is that 2K Games are the people that make the Borderlands series, and 2K is like a conglomerate. They own Rockstar, so that opens the door for Grand Theft Auto adaptations, BioShock, like other games in the library. Those three are kind of the big ones right now. So anything's possible. I think Grand Theft Auto, like that would make a ton of movie at the box office, even if it was horrible. So I guess this is the litmus test to see if Lionsgate can do something correct. Avi Arad is working on it, so yeah. So I think something good could happen here.
He doesn't really have any Marvel properties he can attach himself to anymore if they're all going back to the company.
No, he's still working on the new Spider-Man. He's still on board.
Oh, he's actually attached to it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
he's probably working through Sony.
maybe I'm not sure. But yeah, also video games. The first image for Assassin's Creed was published, which doesn't mean anything.
When is that supposed to be coming out?
Sometime next year.
Like, that is Michael Fassbender is still in that, right?
Yeah, he's producing and starring in it.
I mean, that gives me enough confidence that that could be like a legitimately good video game movie. There
Michael K.
really many
Williams
of
is
those.
going to co-star, and apparently he's like a bigger part in the sequel. Because they're trying to make a franchise here.
It would be a nice surprise if that worked.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know how they're going to do the parkour stuff, but like Assassin's Creed is a Ubisoft game. Ubisoft also is the developer behind Prince of Persia, which might have really bad reviews, but it is the highest grossing video game adaptation of all time. So
doesn't it have only like 60 mil or something?
No, it made more than that.
Like,
worldwide, it made like 360.
Worldwide, it was big, but I want to say Resident Evil's bigger.
Well, it's a franchise. They're about to make their 6th movie, so.
Yeah, well, I want to say like just one of those films though has like
it's definitely Prince of Persia for if no other reason than it had a big star in it and it was a Disney film, plus Jerry Bruckheimer and a couple other things, and it wasn't R-rated. So I only got a couple more things here, and then we can get into what we watched this week. Lionsgate's doing something else. Apparently, they're making a Julius Caesar movie, which kind of extends that whole mythology thing. I mean, he's an actual figure, but the whole mythology thing that's happening. The Maze Runner director's working on a Norse mythology movie. So
is he not like? I don't know how many installments of the Maze Runner novel books.
I'm guessing there's 3. I'm guessing there's 3 books. So that means there's gonna be 4 movies.
Because everything's a trilogy.
Yeah, and I'm guessing there's gonna be 4 movies. Then he's not. It's the first guy. It's not the one that's directing the Scorched Trials. That's coming out soon.
No, that's the same guy.
Is it?
Yeah, Wes Ball. He went back and did that one.
Oh, well, I guess I don't know. Maybe he's not doing a 3rd. But yeah, Wes Ball. He's working on some Julius Caesar, or no, Julius Caesar, the Norse mythology thing. I think it's called the All Gods Die or something. I can't remember correctly right now. Who knows? I like Norse mythology. They already got the Thor movies, but that's kind of the Marvel side of the equation. So hopefully they can do something correct. I know there's that Valhalla Rising movie that is on Netflix or used to be on Netflix.
Nicholas Winding Refn.
I haven't seen that.
I've tried sitting through that. Like I couldn't make it through the first 10 minutes because I was so tired. Like. It's something that just I know is going to demand my attention. I really need to like be in the in a state of mind where I can focus rather than just sit back and just be entertained. But I still want to see it though.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where it's like when Netflix announces that it's going to be removed, then you go, okay, fuck it, I'll finally watch it. I've done that a good amount.
If you have the patience to get through it, because it was like moving very slowly for the first 10 minutes, and I thought I was sitting there for like half an hour.
No one died in the first 10 minutes?
It's very quiet. Very quiet and atmospheric.
Well, talking about quiet, Bruce Willis, the Baldy, he's booted off of the Woody Allen flick. Or he left, no one knows. He's already
Or he
been.
got fired.
Yeah, he either got fired or he left. It sounds like he got fired because how fast he was replaced by Steve Carell. So,
I mean, there's a couple things here. Like, I mean, we've heard what a pain in the ass
yeah,
Bruce Willis is
everyone
to work
knows the
with.
cop-out stories. Or anyone that's Kevin Smith fans knows.
Like, apparently there's a good side to Bruce Willis, and there's a bad side that no one can stand. Because Rian Johnson apparently had a
Loved
great
him,
time
yeah.
with him on Looper. Yeah, which, from what it sounds like is that, he has more respect for people when they have, like, a very specific vision and he wants to see them happen. And if it's something like Red 2 or just a movie that he feels like is just not going to be worth shit, then he's just going to be a prima donna the whole time.
I wouldn't know. I mean, he kind of went from being the biggest action star on the planet to randomly.
Well, he's still a big action star.
He's still pretty big, but it's, I don't know. It's hard to kind of
selling out.
Oh, sort of, yeah.
Kind of. I mean, yeah, come on, Die Hard 5. That's for the money.
Well, I'm thinking more like G.I. Joe 2.
Yeah,
That whole, you can call me Joe.
He was very monotone in that. Yeah, whatever. I forgot about that movie.
I like
that
movie.
Though it might not be his fault. I mean, Woody Allen. I don't know. Like, from what I hear, he's known to, like, just make random casting choices like that, like pretty close into production. So
who knows?
Who knows? Hopefully, this is not a closed window for either of them, because it would still be cool to see them work together in the future.
It's like I said last week. I was really excited about this casting news.
You were, yeah. That would have been really cool.
Right? Like, I can just see it, because it's very rare for Bruce Willis to get a comedy. Like, usually, he has the snarky remarks on the side or whatever.
He can be very funny, though.
Yeah, like, in Die Hard, I would consider Die Hard a action comedy. I think most people would. But, like, I want to see a true comedy. Just in the same way, like, oh, man. I almost said Jean-Luc Picard.
All right, go on. Go on. Man. Get over it. Get over it.
I was thinking of Picard right now, or Professor Xavier. He's supposed to, like, he's only casted as someone dramatic, but he's supposed to be hilarious. I mean, obviously you can see it in, like, American Dad, or, like, bit roles here or there.
Or extras.
Mm-hmm. Everyone on Extras was funny. Fucking Daniel Radcliffe was hilarious. He's like he has like a condom or something. He's like, how do you use it? I got no more news points.
Yeah, the first season of Extras is fucking great. Or series.
Series. Say. Yeah, I binged watched those. They were really enjoyable.
Yeah. I want to watch that again now.
Like, I'm trying to remember some of the other cameos. It's just like every episode has something good.
Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
The Holocaust. It was funny. Like, she went on and had this long dialogue about getting an Oscar for Holocaust movies. She gets her fucking Oscar for the
Holocaust
Reader
movie
afterwards. Yeah, fucking. That's a fun show, man. The first series definitely. That's
the
a fun
Reader.
Show.
Tell me, have you seen The Reader? That Hugh Jackman
that's the
opening
one thing
sequence.
I remember the most of The Reader is just that thing at the Oscars.
Right? That Hugh Jackman opening sequence is like the best thing I've ever seen at the Oscars. When they're going to get their shit together? When's the Academy going to give him another callback? Get him, okay? I don't want to see... Who is it this year? Have they announced it?
I don't know. I don't think they have. It's way too early for that.
Not really. It's going to be in February. It's already September.
They normally announce those like sometime around Oscar season, and it's coming up.
It's coming up, yeah. Like,
yeah, but I mean, we'll hear about it at some point shortly.
I'm sure it's going to be in a month or two, so we'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
So what'd you watch or read or listen to this week?
I know
you've been busy.
I kind of went. Well, I've been very busy, but I found time at home, like when I just needed to rest. I went on a bit of a 3D Blu-ray kick. I went to my local library and I just kind of picked a bunch of stuff off the shelf. But here's one thing I do want to talk about is I do want to bring up Avatar, which I haven't seen since it came out, and
I saw it once since it was in theaters.
Well, I got to be honest. Like, I enjoyed it back then. I really enjoyed the spectacle.
Yeah, I think everyone did, and then it just became a thing to hate because it was cool.
I did kind of get locked into that bandwagon of okay, fine. The story's not
it's
that original, whatever, or Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: just being in a summer where I saw a bunch of blockbusters that I thought was meh, And this being a big, like, not summer spectacle, but a big blockbuster
It
spectacle.
was huge.
Like, yeah, and there's a lot more for me to appreciate it. Like, just as far as a piece of storytelling, it has a familiar plot line. Fine,
But
okay.
it's good still.
But
Like, you still care about the characters.
absolutely. I mean, here's the thing, and like this is just a testament to James Cameron, is that just as far as cinematic storytelling,
Plus, it's all
like,
CGI. It's like, okay,
yeah,
it's like
it's
80% CG.
it's mocap, and it's still like there are some, in a way it kind of does look dated. Like even the 3D still looks good. The live action digital photography does not look that great anymore. The contrast is not really that great.
Well, I mean,
There's
it was
just way better digital
It
cameras
was the
these days.
first
This was, like,
generation 3D cameras.
This was
so-
years ago, yeah, but I mean,
They
it
shot
already
in
kind
like
of visually-
2007, 2008. So.
Yeah, it already visually looks dated though in that regard. And you know what? Like the mocap, still some great stuff, but
Oh,
there
yeah.
are some shots where I was like, well,
Well, yeah, it's not
you know,
Weta, so
even I watched this at home in 3D, and like back at the time, watching it in 3D, I thought it looked photoreal. Now it's not like anything like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which I think right now that's the high mark for mocap. No, Weta, I think they did some work on Avatar.
did they?
Yeah, I don't think it was ILM or anything. I mean, because for mocap, especially, I think a lot of it was Weta.
Huh.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like I do think it really is deserving of being, on a list of like one of those, big like landmark films, like because just
Because it is the movie that brought 3D back. So
yeah, and I mean, it's not just technologically speaking. I mean, just as far as just entertainment, just as far as cinema spectacle, it's a really it kind of Cameron's last two movies, they really feel like really good throwbacks to old-fashioned epics using new technology.
what was his last movie before? Was it Titanic?
Avatar? Yeah, his last narrative one, not
not
the kind of
Aliens of the
documentaries.
Deep.
I mean, yeah, they're really great, like really long, like old-fashioned throwbacks to like just those spectacles of those days, and he hits every story beat that he needs to, and it's not like unless you're hate watching it, that
Which
it's not
is the
like
thing.
it never really abandons you narratively. Every shot is there to service that story, regardless of how familiar it is, and it hits every beat that it has to. So, fuck the haters if you want to bash on it for being popular. I think it's still like a really damn good movie.
I mean, that's not even what it was. It wasn't because it was popular. It was just, it was like everyone saw it, and then like a couple of months down the line, they went, "Why is everyone still talking about this?" And then they had to pick it apart to try to make it seem worse.
But that's the thing. Everything that is popular or like some sort of whatever's happening, like
if it's a zeitgeist.
If it's a pop culture phenomenon, then there is going to be that point where people are going to start going, no, this is wrong. They start picking up the threads, going, see, it's not perfect. It's got this wrong with it, and which it's just one of those stupid things about pop culture phenomenons, because no movie is perfect, no piece of art is ever perfect. It's just your experience with it might be, and then it reaches a point of popularity where people got to pick it apart and go, oh no, it wasn't that great. Leave it alone. Shut up.
It's sad.
Yeah, it happens with everything. The latest one I think was Frozen.
All those people are gonna see Avatar 2. I don't care who the fuck you are. You're gonna see it. I don't
expect. I will see.
It's not gonna have the same.
Avatar 2 is gonna have the same. Yeah.
It's gonna. I think it's gonna look great though. I think it's gonna look so good.
I really don't know what story he's gonna use, but like
it's gonna be the same story.
I
I think it's gonna be How to Train Your Dragon Part 2. To be honest, it's gonna be like their tribe is gonna meet some other tribe to fight the new colonials. The people that are trying to get the unobtainium now. It's gonna be, and they're gonna have to team up, because that's how it ends, right? Like it shows them all flying together, like working together, fighting alongside each other or something.
Well, no, that's what happens for the battle. Like they recruit other clans.
So I think it's gonna. They're gonna be like obviously, I think it's gonna be like real time distance. It's gonna be like 6 years, 7 years down the line. And then,
yeah, but there are 3 movies that are being written on this, and I'm assuming that it's going to be one massive trilogy.
The final one's going to be a huge battle. It's going to be like,
the
whole movie's going to be a battle.
It's probably going to be one massive scope, because they're shooting all this back to back. So it seems like it's kind of a Lord of the Rings or Hobbit type shoot, where like 2 2, 3, and 4 are going to be probably their own trilogy. As weird as that sounds to say,
No,
you
it
know,
makes
'cause
sense. I
we
mean,
already got one,
the
but
first one was the intro, and then
yeah,
this is the story.
yeah. I mean, so you know, but like anyway, my point is like, yeah, Avatar. I still really enjoy it.
It's a fun movie.
Let's see. Yeah, so what else did I watch? You know, in 3D, I watched Toy Story 3, which for the first time since that came out, which is still a fucking
Did you
incredible
cry?
movie. You know, more than that, like I think it has, like I think it's.
I
I don't want to
love
say it's the
Aladdin
best.
Buzz.
Yeah, I don't want to say though it's the best. It might be actually
It's
the
the
best movie ever
best.
by Pixar, like
It
by in
is.
general, like because you know, like it hits. It's funny. It's
It's
extremely tight and entertaining. I
emotional.
think,
It's
and you
written
know,
well.
I think it's their best shot movie. Like you know, just the way that like certain shots like happen in that movie at specific times, and like just the very specific beats that it hits in the score,
That
and
conveyor belt
just
sequence, the
oh
fire,
my
like
god, like
glistening off the Choi's faces.
that is still the one of the most, you know what, fuck it, it's the most terrifying moment like I've ever experienced with an audience in a theater because no, like you have no idea, like that is the most tense I think I've ever been seeing a movie in a theater ever, because that moment was just scaring the shit out of everybody. And then once the thing happens, like I shit you not, there was a massive standing ovation for that, just like
Hmm.
this huge like just moment of relief. And I saw that a midnight screening with like a people my age that just grew up with the original, and that was a fucking incredible, like that's one of the best movie going experiences of my
I
life.
think the Toy Story trilogy to our generation is probably the most important thing, film wise, just because it grew up with us, or we grew up with it. Like Andy was already, well, I mean, I was already in college before Andy was moving to college, but even still, like the parallels were uncanny, and it just had a like. I mean, well, I mean, it's not the same because kids now they're gonna see all three when they're young, and there's just it's almost like the Before Sunrise trilogy in a way.
Yeah, like Toy Story 4 is not gonna hit us in the same way. And I mean, you know,
I'm gonna
I
love it.
can't.
I already know.
I feel like I don't know. Maybe it's wrong for me to say that Toy Story 3 is the best one because there's that obvious bias there. But like,
No, I think
that
it's
is
the
just
best
such
one.
a
I mean,
huge.
the
That's
first
such a
one's
huge
still
part of
really
childhood.
good. It's still a great film,
That's one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, I think
but the
that's in
third
my top
one,
25.
the third one is it's special.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of, you know, it's maybe it's not the best Pixar movie ever, but like for us, I think it's, you know, it's seeing that old friend again, and then you know getting to say goodbye and letting them go do Toy Story 4 or whatever the fuck that is that they're gonna do, because I'm
We
not
already
really
know
gonna
what
be
they're
that into
doing. It's
that.
the Woody Finding Bo
Yeah.
Peep mystery romantic comedy. It's gonna be
Yeah, but
amazing.
that's for another generation. That's not for me
It is
anymore,
it's
and
100% for me.
I don't think it's gonna hit me in the same way that
I'll
Toy
go to
Story
the
3 did.
screening
If
in
it,
my Woody
yeah.
T-shirt. Okay.
You know, if it does hit me, then that's great. I don't expect it to, but like, just even seeing like Toy Story 3 at home, just I don't know, just the way that that movie hits me, like that's some that I wouldn't mind watching again, like every I don't know, like 5 or 10 years. But I don't know, just it's insane. Like watching that, I sound like some fucking
Goober.
I sound like some geeky like
Oh my god, it was the best
asshole like
movie
talking about it that
ever.
just can't hold a coherent conversation. But it's like like seeing that is like a big. Not only is it like does it like bring back fond memories of childhood, but it's like just the power that that movie had when I saw it at that midnight is one of those like big affirming moments of like this is why I fucking love film. Like there's moments where I question why the fuck am I still into this? Why the hell did I spend so much of my childhood obsessed over this? And then there's like moments just where you see those movies and they reaffirm why it's just such a special thing. So
Last time I
I
had that was
I
probably
mean,
Birdman, to be honest.
really that big?
Yeah. Like Birdman, I left that. Well, not even left it, but like I was in that theater feeling a certain way about the movie. Well, I would say the end of the tour also, but that was less about filmmaking. That was about life. But yeah, like Birdman, I was like awed. Just I didn't even want to know how the scenes were blocked. I didn't want to know anything. It was so special. Like not just the way it was shot, but just Michael Keaton basically playing Batman, and as a fan of Batman, just like if Warner Brothers had made that movie and they actually made it Batman instead of Birdman,
It would have hit you in a different way.
it would have been amazing.
That I think, yeah, like I can see that because for me, Birdman was a movie that I thought was really good, but I was not as impressed as everybody. Rather than seeing the single take thing as revolutionary, I thought, you know what, that's a good aesthetic choice, and the
Yeah.
world of the theater that absolutely makes sense to have it there, and it helps that movie.
Like the story
And
of that
I'm glad
movie
they
isn't
did it,
isn't
yeah.
that great, but it was just everything else. It was the camera work, the acting, the drumming, the like callbacks to reality, the casting. Like if Michael Keaton was in that movie, no one would really care. Like it would still look great, but because it was shot in a way that seemed real, and you had this character basically playing something that was real. Like all of it worked together in such a way that it really creates like I would it is its own kind of movie.
Yeah, well, I can definitely respect
There's
that.
that Victoria movie that's coming out, or I think it already is, which is supposed to also be one shot. Well, I know Unfriended was also one shot, but I mean that's obviously a lot easier to do.
That was like one take too.
Yeah, it's
but
a
I'm
lot
sure that
easier
they,
to do. Yeah.
They did that several times, and I'm sure that they combined different takes with like different performances because there's moments where
Well,
calls cut out and whatnot.
I mean, in the camera, I haven't
You
seen
gotta
it, but
see that movie,
yeah, I'm gonna
though.
see it. But I mean, the cameras are on tripods. Okay, there's no movement going on.
Wear a good set of headphones. Watch that on your laptop.
I'm watching
watch
my
it
laptop.
in the dark.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
yeah, watch
did.
it in the dark. It's
I heard,
that movie. Like, I was in the theater alone, like on a Monday night, but that movie has really good sound. Like the sound system that just in that theater was so good when I went.
I might. I'll see what I can do. I'll see if I can find a way to watch that through surround. But yeah. Anything?
I got one more thing though, just as far as what I've been watching. The review that we missed, I saw We Are Your Friends.
Yeah, I know you saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, which you know what? Like, God damn it,
It wasn't bad, right?
perfect. No, perfect segue for Toy Story 3 because now I'm just gonna sound like some asshole talking about his personal, subjective experience rather than the film. I mean, here's the thing: is like it's a very, very formulaic, very cliche movie. And like it was what I needed though for the time that I saw it, so I'm gonna edit there. But like, looking at it just as a movie, I do like just the feel of it. Like it does, even though this is a studio movie, it has a low budget. From what I'm reading here, it's $6 million.
That's
And
really
it just
low
kinda
for a
has,
wide release.
yeah, but it just kind of has like this kind of independent film spirit to it. Like it reminded me of so many movies. I mean, this is completely unrelated as a film, but just the mood that Bellflower had, which was a movie that came from Sundance like 4 years ago. Like I don't know, just that freeform like nature and like the fact that it's shot digitally, like it kind of reminded me of some like that, and it only has two recognizable stars in there. So like if this was a movie that played at
I'd say
Sundance,
3,
uh,
just from
Wes
the trailer.
Bentley, Zac Efron, and who else?
And the model. She was in Gone Baby, not Gone Baby Gone. I mean, Gone Girl. Is in something else. She's on Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue.
Okay, yeah, I didn't recognize her.
That was
by,
the chick that. Well, that's a spoiler. I'm not going there. But she's in Gone Girl. She's gonna be in a couple other things.
Okay. Okay, no, now I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about. That's a spoiler, but leave it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I did enjoy that, and as far as just seeing a movie about the world of DJing, there's a lot of really, really cool like just moments where
Music
Zac Efron
moments.
is specifically talking. Yeah, like. I mean, as far as just him coming up with the sounds that he needs, and
Yeah, I saw in the trailer where he starts recording the nail gun on
yeah,
the roof
like
and stuff.
yeah, and especially like just the final moment where he's DJing in front of the crowd, which is coming because it's
Yeah,
in the trailer.
and
That
he
was
plays this-
really
and
effective.
it's actually good, yeah. And the crowd
But I mean,
goes
there's just
wild,
this
and then he gets the
little-
money.
The best thing is just when there's this little montage where he's talking about his specific process of how he's doing to get to work the crowd, and it's moments like that that I find really inspired and really worth watching the movie. So
I said I
if
wanted
the
to watch
formulaic,
it. I'll watch it
yeah,
eventually.
If the formulaic, like stupid, cliched stuff is a bother for you, I think there is at least that. It's not really a remarkable film, but it is something where, for me, for where I'm at right now, I got what I needed out of it, and I do think it's worth checking out if you're on a similar point like that.
Let me ask you, was Zac Efron on the money when he said it's our generation's Saturday Night Fever? Or have you?
You know, I have not
I was
seen
gonna ask if you haven't seen it.
Saturday Night Fever. No,
You
I
should watch it. It's
haven't.
worth a watch. I mean, it
I know,
just
I know.
just
I
to
want to
see
see it.
where John
I've
Travolta got his star power from.
I've almost been to screenings of it. Like, when it comes to like me not seeing classics that I know I should have, I try to see those theatrically now.
It's
And there were a couple times where it was like playing at local theaters that I missed out. But
not a
I
good
mean,
movie, but the dance scene's
knowing
good and the music's amazing. So
yeah, and I could see like knowing what that movie's about, I could see that being a fair comparison. But obviously, it's not going to be the same phenomenon for our generation
no,
because it
because
tanked.
it didn't have it didn't have like 6 songs made by the Bee Gees just for the movie. Like that,
Yeah,
I think that soundtrack was it might still be the best selling soundtrack of all time, but it was for a long time.
Shaft.
No, no,
Was that bigger? No,
no,
no.
not
I'm,
even.
I'm arguing. Like, no,
No, no, no, no. Like think about how big John Travolta was.
or even Grease. I mean, was it bigger than Grease?
Well, it's different. Grease is no, but I don't know. It could be Grease too. It doesn't matter. They're both Travolta anyway. But like I'm saying like not like a musical, like just a soundtrack. I'm not sure. I haven't done much this week. I've just kind of been thinking and trying to keep
Dealing with life.
exactly. I'm just trying not to think about not being able to see movies for free anymore. For everyone out there, I was fired for giving someone a free upgrade at my movie theater.
Careful what you reveal online, man.
I'm just saying that's exactly what happened. I'm not talking trash on the theater, but that's what happened.
Just saying. I mean, that is kind of your fault, though.
I don't. I'm not passing blame. I'm just putting some news out there. So I've been watching a lot of TV. Like I said, I watched all of Wet Hot American Summer, first day of camp, then the movie again. I've been replaying Arkham Asylum. I'm pretty sure I'm at the point in the game where you're at now.
I'm like 30%.
Yeah, I'm a little bit less than there. I just beat Bane, and I'm playing on hard mode, which is actually challenging.
Yeah, I think I'm on intermediate.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and then I started watching Mr. Robot, which I'm 2 episodes in, but it's pretty. I don't know. I really like the first episode. The second one's like it has some good talent behind it, but the camera work's not great and the music's pretty generic. But I like the concept, even though it's something that it's basically Robin Hood meets the digital age. But I like the techie stuff that they do and talking about like root browsing and Onion and Tor and just I like Rami Malek. Like I think he's really good. I'm happy that he's in something that a lot of people are watching because I thought he was good in the Ninth Museum. And I know he was in something else I can't think of right now. But he's also one of the stars in that Until Dawn video game. Have you heard of this? It's on the PlayStation 4. It's published by Sony, so it's an exclusive. It's an interactive movie. Like, have you heard of Heavy Rain? Or Beyond Two Souls? No, these are two games made by David Cage, also Sony only. Same thing, interactive media. It's basically a movie that you can control the characters in, and you have choices during certain events. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure. The genre kind of began with Dragon's Lair back in the 80s, which was animated instead. But it's like photorealistic mocap, and so he's one of the characters in this. So is Danielle, what's her name? Hayden Panettiere. Those are like the 2 big ones in it, but it's definitely worth looking into. You can watch gameplay on YouTube. It's a horror, and it's written. I don't know what else they wrote, but what I've seen of it, it kind of has like a similar tone to like I Know What You Did Last Summer or almost Cabin in the Woods. Like it kind of is playing on the conventions of the genre. It's definitely something interesting.
Well, just going back to the choose your own path thing. I mean, that's something that I would imagine would work very well for VR.
Yeah. I
Make that very interactive.
They Heavy Rain in particular. It's a PlayStation 3 game. It had support for the PlayStation Move, which is like their version of the Wiimote. So it's like the game starts off and you're playing as like you play as 4 different characters, and it's like a serial killer mystery basically, and it's told episodically. it begins with you like waking up and doing the daily routine, and so you can play with the controller. But if you use the PlayStation Move, it's like you have to brush your teeth, so it like you actually do the same motion, or you have to shave, or it's like stacking dishes and various things, or like playing with your kid, and it's using a controller that mimics movement in a game that's mimicking reality. It very interesting, and so it would definitely, I think, translate really well something like this to VR. And that's because a true video game doesn't make sense for me. I've talked to this about friends. Like the concept, like I could see a 5-on-5 game for like basketball, okay, and each person playing is the same person. They're using a regular controller and regular TV. If you want to watch that game that they're playing, you can do it in VR, and you can walk around the court in real time and see other people who are doing the same thing. That's what makes sense to me. Like, same thing for football or basketball or baseball, like being in the stands. And this is already something that they're doing in reality. Like, you can, in VR, you can watch concerts or soccer games or whatever, and it's in the stands. You know, there might be different angles, but you're not on the field, you know, because unless you have HTC Vive, which who knows how that's going to work, you're still stationary when you're in this photorealistic head tracking 3D realm. I think the choose your adventure is something that's going to work really well in VR.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
We will see. I mean, it's getting close now. I mean, Sony, they're having a press conference in 2 days, I believe it is, Tokyo Game Show. So I'm sure they're gonna. I would hope they have price points. But we're basically done. You said you had a pitch.
Well, hold up. There's one thing.
Yeah, what's your pitch?
And I'll talk to you. No, I'll talk to you about that after the show.
Okay.
Because I don't want to fucking spread out an idea and then get
someone
knocked
steals
down,
it,
and then it turns out someone finds out how to make it work.
Okay.
That's my luck. You saw Paddington.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I saw Paddington. It was great. It was really good.
It's so much fun, man.
You like I reread your Letterboxd review. Yeah, like
it's
the perfect family movie.
Yeah.
Well, I said even less, but it has such heart, and it's such a warm movie. There's so much charm in it. Like you can almost forget that the central character is a CG bear. Like you kind of just forget about that.
Which is so well animated.
Yeah, like it looks great.
Like, so well done.
Like Ben Wishaw's voice is perfect. But
yeah,
like
he was added in later after the fact because I guess they were going to get Colin Firth, and that just didn't work out.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been good.
Yeah, but I mean, it blends so. Even that's a late change. It just blends so well with the rest of the actors.
Like,
I mean, it's really funny. I want to watch it again.
It's such a good movie. It's a shame that it wasn't released this year.
Well, it was early in January.
I thought it was
It came out earlier in the UK though, and the rest of Europe in November. It's kind of like Shaun the Sheep, you know.
Yeah,
we got it
late.
Yeah.
But
and it did. But for here in January, it did really well. That was a great time to put it out.
I recommend that to any family. Like more so than Shaun the Sheep. Just really good movie. Okay, like Nicole Kidman doesn't play the best villain.
No, she hams it up, but it's fun.
But yeah, it's fun. Like everyone's fun. You got Peter Capaldi is in it, aka Doctor Who, or the current Doctor anyway. So that's a big draw for the UK, I'm sure, and a lot of people here if you're a Whovian. But it just so much fun. Like
yeah, honestly,
Disney needs to make movies like that. Like that's what
I think
they need to try to do again.
Like it's just that British mentality. Like, you know, even with Shaun the Sheep, which I think is a great double feature.
I think that's a great double feature. I'd watch Shaun the Sheep first.
Yeah, it's just the, you know, the level of like creativity and just sense of fun. Even with a formulaic plot, there's just so much personality behind it. It just feels so inspired.
Marmalade, the bears.
Yeah, it's just like. I don't know. I just love that attitude behind it, and just, you know, it's not just the heart, just the way that they set up the jokes, even when we see them commenting, just the execution, so good.
That Mission Impossible sequence,
that reference,
that was so
that was a
good.
full-on Ghost Protocol reference.
Like it wasn't even a reference;
man.
It was like a perfect like parody of it. It was so good.
Yeah, I mean, they threw in the theme in there. Like, I swear that was specifically Ghost Protocol, though.
Yeah.
Just that moment where he loses the glove, like, yeah, I mean, it's a fun movie, man.
Definitely fun.
Like, it's one of the best movies of the year.
You got to go watch that movie. Everyone needs to. If you're still listening to this, go watch that. I don't know when we're gonna be back. Apparently, Steve's got a pitch for me. So like I said, I'm kind of in limbo with my movie watching right now until I get another
Yeah,
job.
I know you're tight, but like even then, are you? Do you want to try maybe limiting it down to like because we don't have to see
Everything,
everything,
yeah.
you know. But like there is stuff that I know I'm interested in seeing. Like I'm gonna see The Visit because I'm just curious to see how that goes down, and I'm gonna see Scorch Trials for sure.
Well, I didn't see the first one, so you can
I
count me
like
out
the
for
first
right
one,
now.
so
I'm sure.
all right.
I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, September is kind of a dead month, but you know what? I'll talk to you about what's going on. Either way, like we still have this for the
Well, we
few that
we
are
still have
listening.
this, and we can do like TV reviews. We
Well,
could
if we're watching
we
it,
we could review last week's tonight.
that would be
It'd
stupid.
be pretty meta. Rest in peace, Wes Craven.
See you next week.